What's up, folks? We are live once again on a beautiful Wednesday afternoon here at the Wheelhouse. I don't know if that's too loud or not. We're jamming blues today. Such as every day. I don't know. I'm just been in a blues tick lately, but today we got a special guest for you. This guy's coming all the way from California, and it's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be interesting. Stick around. Before we get to him, you know we gotta roll that intro. Welcome to Wheelchair Wednesday. All right, everybody, let's give it up for Mr. Tony Neri. What is going on, my friend?
What's up, bro? How you doing today?
Doing pretty good. Getting around. I woke up this morning kind of in a funk, like sometimes we all do, but you just got to push through it, man. You got to get through it.
Hell yeah. I got a bladder infection right now, bro, so I feel you.
Oh, no. How do you get a bladder infection? What happened there?
I went camping and I had too many beers.
I always have too many beers, and I've never had a bladder infection.
Really? That's good, bro. That's good. Don't jinx it either. Yeah,
no, watch. Now I'm talking crap about it, and it's going to happen to me. Please, knock on wood. All right.
Yeah, right.
So what's going on, man? Everybody watching, this is a live show. Thanks for tuning in. If you do catch us after live, no worries. Let us know in the comments, how you enjoyed it. Mr. Antony. I asked him before we started. He says, my parents spelled Anthony wrong, but everybody says Anthony, but he goes by Tony. But if we sound weird or something don't sound right, let us know in the comments, and we'll try to get it going. Like I said, this is live. We don't know what's going to happen. But before we get into all the questions and stuff, which is pretty much the first question, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, tell people who you are, where you're from, and how did you get injured?
All right. So my name is Antony Neri. I'm from San Diego, California. I've basically lived here my whole life. This is where I was born and raised. I grew up with both of my parents. I'm the oldest of three. So growing up, being the oldest, I didn't have no big brothers or nothing like that. So I kind of had to. My mom was a little tough, so I had to kind of catch up quick.
Right.
I grew up around gangs. That's kind of how I ended up in the chair due to a gang shooting. I was 19 years old when I got shot. But my early childhood, I just remember being around gangs. And what comes with it. Cops being around all the time, helicopter. You see gang fights. You see people getting hurt in the street. And my parents were good parents, bro. They weren't gang members or nothing like that. So they tried to keep me away from that stuff. But I was just attracted to it as a kid. That was like the thing to be.
Right.
At that time, I was born in 1990, so I grew up in the 2000s. And that was the era where I was really growing up, and yeah, man, and that's practically how I ended up in the wheelchair. Eventually, in the wheelchair, I started working with at-risk youth. There was people that were trying to get me involved with that, and in the beginning, I didn't want to, and that was kind of like where I learned about myself and how to deal with the chair and deal with my issues and issues that I had even before that, even before the wheelchair ever happened. I already had issues because wanting to be in a gang member is not a thing I recommend. It's not a good thing.
Right.
But at that time, I thought that was like the thing to be, the thing I had to be. And well, that's how I ended up in the chair. And like I said, I ended up working with the kids from let's say I started really working with them in 2012, and I recently stopped working with them in 2022. So I was working with them for 10 years.
So you work with kids? Are you talking about the misplaced youth, the ones that you trying to keep out of the gangs?
Kids on probation, kids in juvenile hall, kids that have been there for murder, kids that are there for gang violence, robberies, crossing drugs across the border. I'm sorry. Yeah, stuff like that. So, and some of them are petty. Some of them are, they got caught with weed or stuff like that. Nothing that serious.
Super serious, right? Yeah.
So those type of kids. My last 4 years, I was working in juvenile hall. My first 6, I was working in probation schools, or some regular schools, regular high schools. But but mostly it was kids on probation and kids that mostly have a tough life.
How long have you been in the chair for?
13 years. I got shot May 26, 2010, and May 26, 2010.
Dang,
so 13 years in the chair. Yeah, bro. I was 19 years old when I got shot.
Let me ask you this. Question number 2 is, would you walk if you could? Now, what I mean by that is, if you could go back to that time, would you choose to not be there that night and then live your life the rest of the way out that way? Or, that means giving up everything since you've been in the chair. Or would you stay where you're at now?
Man, damn, bro. That was a really good question. Wow.
Thank you.
Yeah, you caught me off guard. I like that. I really do. Man, it's a tough one, bro. I'm going to be honest. It's a really tough one. And this is why, bro. Today, I'm a father. My daughter was born in 2020, like right when in the pandemic. She was born in 2020. My wife is pregnant right now as we speak. She's like 3-4 months. I live a normal life, bro, like really normal life. But
right.
But damn, that's a tough one because if I was walking, bro, I would be dead or in jail.
Right.
So I miss me being able to stand up and walk and run and do those things that I was able to do, bro. But I have what I have today, and I don't know if I would have had that if I was walking. So, I would have to stay like this. Yeah.
All right. I feel you, man. I'm with you. There are people that would go back. You know what I mean? I mean, it's I've talked to more that would stay the way they are now, but there are people out there that have, they're like, I've done it, I've seen it, I want to go back. You know what I mean? And I get it. I mean, people that were injured when they were real young, that never got to experience being an adult, or even like you were just a kid, pretty much.
Bro, honestly, the reason why I say that too is because that lifestyle, that gang lifestyle, is fake, bro. Is like eventually I had to learn the hard way that life is fake, that it's not real, that the stuff that we preach we don't end up doing,
right?
And so that's why it's like, man, why would I go back to that, to something that is not real, something that I ain't gonna get nothing back in return but taking my life away or my freedom, or the ability to walk.
Almost like God gave you a second chance, and here you are today.
Oh, he did, bro. Oh, he definitely did, bro. Man.
I like the tattoos. I seen the tattoos on the neck. Like the crosses.
My pieta and my crosses.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just got these like 2022. I had extra money.
Nice.
So I said, fuck it.
I know, that's one thing I don't got. I got one on the back of my neck, but I don't got one on the sides of the back or the front. So you mentioned something about you have a wife or a girlfriend. That was my next question, is dating, married. How's that going for you?
So so when I ended up in the chair, bro, I had a girlfriend, right? So I was with that chick at that time for about 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
So when this happened, I ended up in jail. I didn't, and eventually she left me when I was in jail.
Damn.
Or I left her. I left her, but because I knew she was doing me dirty, so I left her.
Right.
And after that, I had those insecurities, bro. Like, what's gonna happen? Like, cause you as a man, you want that. So
yeah.
So little by little, I had homegirls, that just would invite me out. By the time I hit 21, they would try to invite me to clubs and stuff like that. And I wasn't a club type of guy. I would just start going to bars or clubs with my homegirls. They were my friends. And eventually, little by little, bro, that's kind of how I built my confidence. Like, they would introduce me to their friends and stuff like that. And, that's where I built my confidence in the wheelchair. That's how I had it. But my wife, I've known her since I was 14. We went to high school together.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, we went to high school together, and we went to prom together. But she wasn't my girlfriend. She was just my friend at that time, too. And we got together when we were 23. We were like 23 when we got together. And she has a cousin in the wheelchair. He's a quad.
Oh, so she was already kind of used to it, and not really didn't throw her off or nothing.
She already knew what a catheter was. She knew more about the wheelchair than I did.
Nice.
So and I didn't know that about her. Like, until this happened to me, she told me, she came to visit me, and she's been around ever since, bro. Like I said, I've known her since I was 14, and
Oh yeah, I gotta
And
give her
so-
one of these. You can't hear it, but I just hit the hand clap button for her. So the audience, it sounds like the audience.
Yeah.
My studio audience, yeah. That's
Yeah,
dope.
she's a good girl.
I'm glad to hear that. Well, it goes to show too that there is always hope. You know what I mean? For those who are single and in a wheelchair, a lot of it's confidence. You know what I mean? You gotta. It's just like anything. If you have confidence, it's gonna follow you. It's like an aura. You know what I mean? You gotta.
Yeah.
I mean, don't listen to me. I've only been down for 4 years. I mean, hell, you've been in there for a lot longer than me. But
No,
it's good to hear
it's true
though.
boy. Like, but because this is how I see it. If you're mentally disabled, bro, there's a difference between being mentally disabled and physically disabled. If you can't move forward from this part,
Yeah.
the rest ain't gonna function. And so once you know how to control that and just accept who you are and how it goes, bro, and little by little you'll see, bro, that it happens. Like, I would think girls were crazy though. Don't get me wrong. I would think girls were crazy for hitting on me. I'm like, what's wrong with her? Like,
Right.
like what's my wife? I tell her, I'm like, what's wrong with you? Like, like why? Like,
Don't
why
you want to go with a real boy?
Yeah.
Right.
Don't you want to go with somebody that can walk and do everything? And but like I said, me and her have like that little thing since we were 14, and so yeah, bro, it worked out, man. It just worked out. It worked out.
That's dope. What's your biggest pet peeve about being in a wheelchair? What bugs you the most?
The bathroom stuff.
Just the bathroom? What, like going out and people not having bathrooms, or just being in the bathroom, period?
And I remember in the beginning, bro, I would take 2 hours in the bathroom. After like 5 years, eventually, maybe 5 years, maybe 4. 4 years in, it would take me like an hour. I found out how to do it. And so, but the catheters, bro, sometimes a big issue. Sometimes I run out, you know, and
Right.
And sometimes I get bladder infections. I've had so many bladder infections, bro. Like, I've been in the hospital for that so many times. So that's like my thing right there. Like, that I have to stick that in there to even.
That's your arch nemesis.
Oh yeah. That freaked me out. The first time I found out I had to do that, it freaked me out. And to this day, like, I'm used to it, but.
Man, I got my first UTI a couple years ago. I think it was like 1 year after I started cathing myself, and I got sick as hell for a whole day. Like, it was 24-hour flu bug almost, and then I felt better the next day, and come to find out it was just a UTI.
You didn't get the fever?
I don't know. I don't know if I did or not. I don't even think we checked it. I just felt like shit. Well, because you could feel it coming on, and then that night, and then I woke up the next day, felt like shit the whole day, and then I was fine afterwards. Sorry, I normally don't cuss on here, but technically my page is 18 and up.
Nah, don't even trip.
But no, so that's totally understandable. What about what is something that you wish you could do now that you can no longer do?
You want me to be honest?
Well, I mean, besides that, we all, that's like the number one top of any kind of para-work quad. That's like the number one.
So I think you know.
If you know, you know. Yeah. The little.
I think that's my number one, bro. I'm not even gonna say it, but yeah, I think that's my number one.
Yeah. What's besides that? What would it be?
Oh man, being able to go to the beach and just run in the water.
Yeah. I haven't tried to roll in the sand yet.
Yeah. I don't even try, bro. Like, yeah, it's a pain in the ass. Like, you need an electrical chair or something like that.
You know, I did an interview with a guy named Ben Hunsinger. He does Gladiator. It's called Gladiator or Spartan Chariots is what it's called. And he makes manual chairs that got mountain bike tires on them, so you can just float through stuff. Like, and he makes them custom for everybody. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
But that's definitely something I can see. I mean,
getting in the water, bro. Just getting in the pool, swimming.
Yeah.
You know, I can swim in the wheelchair. You know, like, I'll be going to the gym here, to 24-hour fitness. So, like, I get in the pool and I swim sometimes, but like, it's not the same. Like,
just taking your shoes off and putting your feet in the sand, and you know what I mean. Like, you don't get the same feeling.
I just went camping this weekend. I went to a camping site in Ensenada in Mexico. And the same thing, bro. Like, I see people get to do what they want, and it's tough sometimes. Like, man, like, I want to get in there. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to get on the quads. So we're riding quads, horses, and all that. And I'm like,
right.
But it is what it is. Like, I'm there. I'm with the family. Like, I'm trying to be grateful for that at least.
Right, for sure. What's your pain level like?
My pain level, man, honestly, is I'll say it's like a 6 or 5. It's usually my lower back, bro. Like, but that's pretty much it. In my hands, go numb on me a lot. You know, I'm a level T6, so I still have my hands, but they be going numb a lot. That's one thing for sure. That after 13 years, I've been
Sounds like a
experiencing a lot of
circulation, yeah, issue.
yeah, and they say it's carpal tunnel. My hands work, like I said, they don't look like they have carpal tunnel. Like they're not shaky or close or nothing. But I just recently got checked and never seen I had the carpal tunnel. So I'm getting that checked out right now because yeah,
You think that's something?
right.
You think that's something due to like pushing yourself around for all these years, or?
That's what they said. That's the only reason they told me to actually that yeah, you know,
So in your case, a power chair would have been better for you, maybe.
Well, not really. Yes and no. So
Well, yeah, in certain
because-
situations, yeah.
yes, because I could like get around easier, absolutely, right. But here, like where I live, like it's not hard to be around in the wheelchair. Like I could push to the gym. It's local right here by my house, so I
Right.
could push in my wheelchair. It takes me like 5 minutes, you know. So it's easy. There's no grass, no hard grass, no dirt like that. It's all pavement, you know.
Right.
So that keeps me in shape in a way, you know what I mean? And eventually,
For
you know
sure.
what? I'm gonna need it regardless. I know
Oh, yeah.
eventually I am gonna need it, but
Might as
But
well
right now,
use what you got, yeah, until you can't no more.
yeah, like I said, I go to the gym, bro. I try to work out, and so I do overuse them, you know. Like now, back in the days, I remember when I was barely in the chair, I would go to the gym 5 days a week. Right now, I'm going like 2 or 3. I
Right.
can't do the same. Like so, I try to make sure I take care of myself before it gets worse.
For sure. What's your I don't know, what helps you the most? So after you like got injured and you were like, realized that you were paralyzed, what's the biggest thing that helped you the most after that?
I think working with the kids. Yeah, working with the kids. I saw life in a very bad way, you know, when I was younger. So working with those kids, it humbled me. You know,
Right.
the only reason I ended up working with them, I remember in the beginning I did not want to work with them. I didn't even want to get involved. But I had a friend that was from an LA gang. They ended up working here in San Diego, and she was already working with kids. Man, she used to invite me, like, come on, talk to my kids, and I'm like, you're crazy, fool. Like I ain't gonna help these kids. I'm gonna recruit them. That's how I used to think, bro. I told her I'm gonna recruit these kids into my gang. Like I'm not gonna
Right.
tell them not to. Like, and she's like, "Fool, you crazy? But let's go. Like, come on, let's go." And I'm like, and I didn't want to, bro, because I'm like, who the hell am I to go tell these kids anything about like not doing it when I didn't know how to not do it?
Right.
But one day I just took the chance, bro. I had done church, I had done all those things, bro. Like, so I was looking for something to help me, bro. Like everybody else, everybody finds whatever helps them, right? But I did the church thing, I did all that, and that humbled me too. But the kids, man, like, just seeing how they lived, and me, bro, I didn't have like my home life wasn't bad, but outside of home, it was bad.
Right.
So, you know, my parents didn't teach me this stuff. And a lot of these kids, their parents teach them these things, how to get high, how to get in the gang, how to be a gang member. And it's not like they're teaching them on purpose. That's just what they see.
Right.
So, and that kind of humbled me, bro, that talking to these kids, learning about them. I learned the concept of emotional literacy, of learning how to recognize your emotions and know how to react to them, bro. So, for example, if I got mad back in the days, I felt I had to react by being disrespectful and being violent,
Right.
and taking it to a level that it didn't have to go to. You know, if I would have checked my anger, I wouldn't be in the wheelchair, bro. I wouldn't be in the situation. I would have, maybe I don't know where I would have been, bro, but I didn't have that skill to know how to check myself.
Right.
And that's where I learned that working with those kids. I was a student before I became a teacher and a facilitator there. So, yeah, man, that really humbled me, and I did it for 10 years, and it was awesome, man. While it lasted, it was awesome.
Heck yeah. What about your hobbies? What do you do for hobbies, like before and after? Did you keep the same ones, or you find new ones, or?
I'm the type of guy, bro, that I'll have a hobby for like 6 months, and then I'll stop it for like 6 months. like, so for example, the gym, right? I'll go to the gym hard for like 6 months, and then eventually I'm gonna take a break. And eventually, depending on, being a dad, bro, like my day consists based on my kid, so I have to. I don't like leaving her with babysitters and stuff like that. So
Right.
either my wife is gonna work or I'm gonna work. So it all depends on where I'm at in life, right? So right now I'm not really working. I'm basically a stay-at-home dad right now. I'm focusing on my podcast. We'll talk to you guys, if you guys see me already. But that's what I've been focusing on, and I'm able to do it right now, while my wife is working and all that. So
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the Wheel Talk podcast. When did you want to start that out? Because I remember, I don't know if it was you that said something, but I remember like when you first started coming out with that. When was that? Let's talk about that real quick.
Let's say the idea started when the pandemic happened, bro. Honestly, in 2020, I remember it was March. It was March 2020, and I remember a week before the school was gonna be over, or I was in the juvenile hall. So in the juvenile hall is different. They don't have the same school time period, So they told me that, okay, after Friday you're not coming back, and I'm like, why not? And they're like, oh, because of COVID. And I didn't know what COVID was, bro. I don't watch the news. I don't watch none of that shit. Like I mind my business, right? So
Right.
it's like, so when I heard about it, that's when I had so much free time. I had so much free time, bro, and I started watching a lot of podcasts. And well, I got into them. Joe Rogan. I'm into like the gangster mafia guys, so like Michael Francis.
Oh yeah, I like Michael.
All that. Even Sammy the Bull, all those type of things, bro. And eventually, I just enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. And at one point, I thought about it. What if I started one? I didn't even have a name, bro. To be honest, I didn't even have a name. I'm like, what if I started one? And things were going bad in my job, bro. There were certain things that were happening in my job that I didn't go along with, and other things happened, and so little by little, I was disillusioned with the organization, and I was like, well, maybe I should do the podcast, bro. And then me and my wife were thinking about names, and I'm like, Real Talk. I want to talk about real talk, real conversations. When I was working with these kids, bro, I would have real deep conversations about why they were the way they were, and how comfortable they were about talking to me about their life, bro. It was so crazy to me how they were so comfortable with me, and they would speak to me and be so open and say things to me that they would never say to their parents.
Right. Because they felt like you were one of them. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, bro. I never faked nothing. I was always myself. In order for them to trust me, bro, I had to be vulnerable. So they would share, because I would tell them my issues.
right.
Even as a 20-year-old, 30-year-old man, I still have issues. I'm not perfect. So because I was able to do that with them, they would tell me theirs, and I would help them recognize theirs at the same time, bro, because they couldn't. You live a life so long and you're so used to it. In order for you to understand that certain things that you're doing are wrong, it takes a while for you to snap out of it, And,
right.
And sometimes you don't. You take it too far to a point that there's no coming back.
Can't come back from. Yep.
Nope.
I know what you mean there.
And so I had a few kids, bro. 2022, I had like 5 kids end up in wheelchairs. The whole 10 years I was working with the kids, bro.
Shoot.
Yeah, my last year I had 5 kids end up in wheelchairs. So that started motivating me, because they took me back to when I was barely in the chair, bro. Like, they always would tell me, what's the point, Anthony? What's the point of living? And bro, oh man, that shit hits me. When they would say that, I was like, wow, like, and I'm like, maybe I have to remind people that it's all right, like I live a good life, bro. Sometimes I make it hard on myself, because sometimes I have a hard time with being in the chair. I make it look easy, bro, and I have what I have. But this chair sometimes gets the best of me, And so yeah, and so little by little, I just started thinking of a name, started investing in it, and here we are, bro. And I'm looking for people that are doing something with the wheelchair, bro. Like, no disrespect to the people that are having a hard time with this. Like, I understand, but I'm looking for those people that are doing the best they can to overcome it and not let it get to them, and still push forward, you know what I mean? Because this sucks, but
right. That's kind of why I wanted to start this whole thing. Yeah, exactly. Like, the Wheelchair Wednesdays. was something that I wanted to do, and I think there actually is. If you look up Wheelchair Wednesday, there's a girl that does it, but she's just like documenting her life. But I wanted to do something where I could talk to all kinds of different people with different injuries and see where they were at with it. You know what I mean? Because even if you're having, like you said, some people don't know how to move forward. They're just stuck, and they're like, you know, that thought to just end it. You know what I mean? Is always there, and we all have that. It never goes away. You know what I mean? It's just you gotta.
Yeah, check it out. When I was barely in the chair, you know, I wanted to die, bro. Don't get me wrong. A lot of us think like that, right? But I didn't have the guts to kill myself. I didn't. Right. I couldn't do that, bro. I had too many people to disappoint that I couldn't do that. And these kids that barely ended up in the chair, you know, they've barely been in the chair a year and a half. They're struggling, bro. They're stuck on drugs. They're ending up worse than what they would be, because drugs makes your body worse. So they're stuck on certain medication they shouldn't be on. They're doing street drugs. They've been suicidal. They've tried to kill themselves, like literally try to kill themselves. So those little things, I was like, man, bro, I didn't do this. Like I did drugs when I was in the chair. Don't get me wrong, but like in the early stages, but I didn't go that far how they're going, where they're really giving up, bro. They're really giving up. My first 6 months, I was already, by the time I went to jail after my 6 months barely being in the chair, bro. I got out like 5 months later, and I was pretty much independent in those early stages. Like, but these kids are still not independent. They can't do that, and their levels are even lower than mine. Like they have more capability, bro, but they are having a very hard time with it, man. And so I try to see if I could do a little bit that I can to motivate them, because this is not. It's not.
Well,
good.
I think that once you find something that's worthy, you know, like a worthy cause, such as what you're doing, or like, you know, how I do the podcast or whatever. If you find something that you want to do to either help yourself or somebody else, it almost becomes like it's like autopilot. Like you're just put here, and this is what you're supposed to do. You know what I mean? Like I thought about that the other day too. I'm like, man, like we just go through these and we do them. And, like, I know I put this all together, but it's crazy how it just falls into place. You know what I mean? And how it just happens.
Bro, look, check it out, man. This is how crazy this is. The day I got fired from the job, right? Because, like I said, it got bad. But I got fired, right? And that same day I got fired, some guy had done a documentary about me, like in 2018. I won an award at Sharp Hospital, Rehab Hospital. I won an award. It was like a big deal in 2018, I guess.
Nice.
And from there, I met this guy named Randy. Shout out to Randy if he ever watches this.
Shout out Randy.
Yeah, he made an intro for me. So that intro that I posted, if you guys go to Wheel Talk on YouTube and you see my intro, he made that intro for me. So I'm like, hey, that day he just contacted me randomly, bro. I had not spoken with him for like a year, like randomly. He just hit me up like half an hour after I got fired. And so I'm like, Randy, hey, bro, I didn't know nobody that could do stuff like that. So I'm like, hey, bro, I need help with this, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, financially, I'll see how I can figure it out, but can you help me out? So he made me my intro, bro. Kind of like you said, little by little, like everything was coming into place. You know, the studio, I was talking to a homegirl that I had not spoken to in a year. I had not talked to her in forever. And she's like, what's up? What you been up to? So I'm telling her basically the stuff I'm telling you. And, hey, I know where to rent the studio. For how much? Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, wow, like, that's cheap. Let's go. I go check it out. And when you guys watch it on YouTube, that's the studio that I rent. Nice. And bro, and I have, you know, my brother's been helping me out with it too. And it's been little by little, bro. I enjoy podcasting, bro. So why not do it?
Yeah, it's definitely fun. I mean, it's all in all, the basic emphasis of it is just conversation. You know what I mean? We're just having a conversation about a certain topic or certain topics that other people might be interested in, that they might be able to, you know, get something from and take something away from it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The last question I got on here for you is, what is the biggest piece of advice that you would give somebody who is newly injured?
Focus on your therapy. Physical therapy. Your physical therapy should be the most important thing, based on your level, obviously, based on your abilities and what you could do. But I think my body would be a little more different if I took care of myself a little bit better in the beginning. Like I said in the beginning, bro, I was doing drugs. I was on Oxycontins. I was smoking weed. I was drinking. I was doing meth.
Right.
I was doing like heavy drugs, bro. So that messed me up in the beginning stages, and so I suggest focus on your therapy. The reason why I even say it also is because it's gonna help you in your independence.
Yeah.
Because that's really
You're
what
the first
we
one
want.
to say that.
When you think about it, that's what you want the most.
Yeah.
You want to be independent, not somebody not to help you in the bathroom, change you, none of that shit. Like push you, So like that's what's important. Focus on that. The earlier, the better. The more you could do in the beginning, the better, because you're gonna figure it out quicker how to maneuver in your chair, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I've broken so many chairs. I've done so much crazy shit in it because I'm doing here too. Back then, bro, I would let people jump in my chair and just play with it. My homies would get on my chair and they'll be falling on it. Me not thinking that those falls are fucking up the chair.
Yeah.
Right?
And those chairs ain't cheap. Yeah, them bitches are.
Yeah, and they ain't cheap.
Thousands
and I ended
of
up
dollars.
in the couch for like a week. I ended up in the couch for like a week, bro. Like, wow, like, nah, like, I started learning from my mistake. I've been stuck in elevators, like, shit, like.
Right. Damn.
Yeah, bro. Like, I'm falling off the stairs, like.
You've had to go.
Yeah. So your therapy, man. Focus on your physical therapy, mental therapy too, man. If you could find it, if there's somebody out there you trust that you could share those things with, man. Those personal things that you struggle with, find it, man. Mine is my wife, and that was even hard too, because it's still uncomfortable to talk about those things with her. But I learned how to do it working with the kids, bro. I learned how to be myself, how to just, like, when I have a hard time with it, she knows, you know what I mean? And and so I have that support, no doubt.
That's awesome, for sure. Heck yeah, man. Well, it's been a blast. Like I said, for everybody that's watching, we're going to put all his links down at the bottom. Once this ends, it usually takes about 20 minutes to 30 minutes for everything to load up, so give us a minute to put that in there. Then go check him out. Wheel Talk on YouTube. Mr. Tony Neri. Let's give it up for him, guys.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, man.
Appreciate
you, bro. Thank you for
Good to see
me,
you.
man.
Absolutely.
Nice to meet you, and let's stay in contact.
Yeah, stay with me real quick, Tony. We're about to come right back to you, but for everybody else, if you enjoyed this, go ahead and give it a like, thumbs up, share it, tell your peeps. If you want to come on and join an episode of Wheelchair Wednesday, you just got to hit me up. Send me a message. Comment in the video. We'll get you on eventually. We are running out until December almost right now, but we're going, man. We're doing it. So, Tony, thanks for joining us. Everybody else, we will catch you on the next Wheelchair Wednesday. Thanks for watching.